Jump ball, NBA draft edition. So I want to jump up right from the start, toss up the first jump ball. Mike, which player has the higher ceiling, Anthony Edwards or James Wiseman?
It's Anthony Edwards, and every NBA team is looking for a three-level scorer like this, a guy who at 6'5" can pull up from anywhere on the floor, can get downhill, can get to the free throw line, and can be a late-game scorer and really a franchise player. I think he has a chance to be one of the best scorers in the entire NBA someday, and he has the tools to be a two-way player, 6'5", 230 pounds, 6'10" wingspan.
Hey, guess what? You are speaking the gospel because Anthony Edwards is a stud. He's a level 4 scorer, and he's an NBA scorer. He's NBA ready right now. To me, he has the athleticism of a Russell Westbrook, and right now he's a poor man's James Harden. But he can get a bucket in a variety of ways. He has the step back. He has the ball on the string with a step back three-pointer in order to create, to get separation on his shot. And by the way, if he get downhill, watch out. He'll dunk on you either off of 2 feet or one leg. So I'm looking at Anthony Edwards, and the sky's the limit for the kid. In a few years, he might be averaging 30-plus a game.
Yeah, I think we have a consensus on that. I'm always going to be in favor of a perimeter guy, especially one with this guy's talent. I mean, when you ask him who does he want to be like, who does he model this game after, he said Dwayne Wade, one of the all-time great players we've ever seen. And so in order to win a championship, you need elite perimeter players. I mean, I don't care how good Wiseman becomes. If you look around the league, Karl Anthony Towns, #1 pick, Embiid, #1 pick, DeAndre Ayton. But you need that perimeter guy, that elite perimeter guy to take you to that next level to win a championship, no matter how good your big is. You need that guy. And as a coach, as a GM, that's what I'm out searching for, and a guy who could potentially be that guy. So, I know Wiseman, he probably will be a great player one day, but I got to go with Edwards.
Well, I do want to look at our NBA projections from ESPN Stats and Info. So according to ESPN Analytics, Anthony Edwards has a 41% chance to become an NBA All-Star, which is highest among all draft prospects for this year. Edwards has a 38% chance to max out as a starter at the highest level. So Schmitz, does that seem right to you?
I think it's likely just because of Edwards' star power that he already has, and Paul mentioned it. Perimeter players like that, that's what you need to win an NBA championship. Like, how badly could the Milwaukee Bucks have used a guy like Anthony Edwards, somebody who late clock can go get you a bucket? And I think he can play kind of a Donovan Mitchell style of role. I agree with Perk in terms of the scoring instincts, the way he moves at 6'5". There's a little bit of James Harden there. Not to knock James Wiseman. I think he's going to be really good as a rim runner, lob catcher, a defender, a guy who can, really block shots at the rim. But if you're not a Bam Adebayo type, someone who can really handle and play make, or a Nikola Jokic, someone who's really, really skilled, I think it's easy to find bigs who can run and jump and block and dunk for pretty cheap on the free agent market.
Well, James Wiseman certainly sounds like a good fit for the Golden State Warriors if he ends up there. They're good on perimeter players. They've got some decent guys playing on the perimeter, so they could use a James Wiseman there to add on to that roster. We'll have to see if that's where he goes. Next, Mike, which player do you think is the biggest risk in this draft? And we're just going to narrow it down to those top 5 guys, Lamelo Ball or Deni Avdija?
Well, I'm going to go with Lamelo Ball here with a caveat because he's my #1 prospect in this draft. I love his star power, his talent, his ability to make everyone around him better. He's the best passer in the draft, and he has a star quality about him that's really hard to find. But this is a guy you got to hand the keys to. He can't really just fit in on any team. You have to really turn things over to him, build around him, and that's why I think Avdija has a little bit of a higher floor. Again, Ball is in a different stratosphere as a prospect, but Avdija is a guy who's coming to the NBA with over 100 games of pro experience. He was the youngest Israeli League MVP in the history of that league at 19 years old. So at the very least, I think he's going to be an NBA starter, 6'10", 225 pounds. He can make an open shot. He's got a high basketball IQ, whereas LaMelo is a little bit more of a risk because if he doesn't hit as your main guy, then how does he kind of fit in?
Right.
Well, I have to disagree with you on this one because LaMelo Ball is everything to me. 6'7" point guard, a big guard, got dimes, could pull up from deep. It was relentless, and he's made for the bright lights. Then is good, but he reminds me a lot of Gallinari and I don't know if he's going to come in and have an immediate impact on the game. Lamelo Ball is. This kid is ready. He also played overseas. So you're right. The team that he goes to turn over the keys to him, and they will. And he's going to be ready for time all day long. Lamelo Ball is that guy.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Perk. I think Denny is the bigger risk because when you look at, I think on the most part, a lot of European players are a bigger risk because when you look at the stats, they don't just blow you away outside. You know, like Luka did, yeah, but that's a rare occasion. These guys come over there based on their talent. You know, you see he averages 12, 7, and you're like, okay, the potential is there, and there's always a risk. And I've seen many European players come over and didn't make the transition to the league, you know, like we saw with Rubio. He's a solid player, but he was pegged as a superstar. And so I'm going to say he's the bigger risk. I like what I've been seeing, the development of Lamelo Ball, and I think you have to take a chance on him.
All right, so let's go a little bit further down the board. Mike, last jump ball here. Which player do you think has more upside if we match up Obi Toppin or Onyeka Okongwu?
I think it's Onyeka Okongwu, and that's because he has a chance to be a two-way player. You know, Obi is a great offensive player. He can really rim run, he can lob catch, he can space you to three, he's really good at handoffs. But Okongwu, 2.5 years older, and he's already the best defender in this draft on the interior. He can switch every ball screen. He puts a lid on the rim defensively. He's really good in those drop situations. And offensively, he's just scratching the surface. I think this is a guy who's going to be a lob threat right off the bat, and then also might be able to step out and space the floor a little bit. So when you look at the age discrepancy, you look at the fact that Okongwu is going to be a two-way player compared to Obi, who's really, really good on offense, but he has some major concerns on the defensive end of the floor. And if he's a one-way guy, then I think that kind of limits his upside.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.